Hello and welcome to this year in review. My name is WW but you already know that. And I kind of didn't feel like doing a sort of year-end awards video the way I did the last few years this year. Because mainly I don't really feel like listing off 5 games to be my top 5 of the year is a very accurate representation of how I see the gaming like releases of this year, because there's way more than 5 games that need to be mentioned, and also having the other awards, so to say, just have one entry each also kind of doesn't make too much sense, because there's more than one bad game, more than one letdown to talk about, and also not all of the good stuff I want to talk about does not also have bad stuff to talk about. So I decided to do this as more of a the year in review kind of thing. I wanted to make this kind of a 3-part thing within the video, where one part's about the good, one part's about the bad, and one part is about what is to come in the next year. So we're going to start with the good stuff, and obviously, since I still want to talk about the games that we played this year, we're gonna start with the good games of the year. None of these are like the ones that I really want to put as the game of the year for this year, so just see this as me listing off the good games of the year, and after that the good DLCs and good hardware, and then the bad stuff, and then the future. So don't take this as any sort of ranking, so to say. So without any further ado, first game I want to talk about, the Dark Pictures Anthology Man of Madden. I played through this game twice. The second time trying to kill all of the people kinda didn't happen, but all in all, the game was it had what the other game that followed Until Dawn by the same developers last year, which was Hidden Agenda. That was it. I had to actually think about it because I actually forgot the game pretty much, except like I forgot the title, and I want to forget about the game itself because it wasn't really good. But this, however, Man of Medan, Dark Pictures kinda took what was good about Until Dawn and extended upon it. They took the same vibe that Until Dawn had and just changed the setting more or less, which doesn't seem like something that would really like qualify as extending upon something, but gameplay wise it was very similar to Until Dawn, where you had like keep calm sections where with like less dodgy controls this time, because you didn't have to like hold your controller still. You actually had to play a rhythm game, which was a whole lot less annoying than the hold the controller still kind of thing, because that kind of was really not well thought out unless you like literally put the controller on the table and held it in place. It would not work correctly. So I'm pretty glad that they went for something else. I mean, they had to kind of, because the game also released for PC. I did still play it on PlayStation though, and I'm not sure yet whether I'll play the PlayStation versions of the other parts that are coming out, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where they're going with the rest of the series, and I'm very much looking forward to playing more of it. Okay, stay calm.
Drop it, Buster.
Second one on the list, as I said, this isn't in any way, shape or form a ranking, but it just happens to be the second one that I wrote down, is Control. I already liked Control when I got to try it back on Gamescom of this year, even though I tried it on a PlayStation, so I had to play it with a controller, which was kinda horrible because it is at its core a third-person shooter kind of thing. Kinda, a little bit. It at least has shooter mechanics, and I really hate nothing more than aiming with a controller, but yeah, from a graphics standpoint, it's absolutely breathtaking. It runs really well on PC. It looks absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to actually get back into it. I did not get to finish it this year, but I am totally looking forward to playing more of it in the coming streams, as soon as I find the time. F it. F that thing. Is that a disc? Like a floppy disk?
It's harder to hear you when I'm here. It's like the channel's been changed. The board's in charge here. They're pyramids in the bureau seal. Are they really the ones pulling the strings? I'm not their director. I'm no one's director.
Neat. Let's come to the first VR title of the list, Trova Saves the Universe. Now, Trova Saves the Universe is, at its core, a puzzle platformer-ish kind of game. It is a puzzle game, it is a platformer. It kinda has a few, like, action, adventure kind of elements to it. But all in all, it's just hella funny. It also manages to be one of the first games that I played that I could really say is not as much of a like just proof of concept kind of thing, but actually a full-fledged VR game that I can get behind calling a full-fledged game. So yeah, seeing as this was kind of the year VR first hit, really, in that kind of way, because most of the VR games up until this year weren't really fully fledged out. They were either very short, like Unearthing Mars, or they were really just proof of concept, like, or they were like rhythm games like Beat Saber or something like that. It doesn't really have much of a story, kind of. So yeah, seeing something like Trova Saves the Universe is actually really freaking awesome. Also, it is by the same developers that also made Accounting Plus. So that kind of has the same kind of weird humor. It is by the same people that make the Rick and Morty stuff, so I guess that's also the same humor, but then again, I never watched Rick and Morty and I don't plan on. So yeah, I can't really say much about that. There is also a Rick and Morty game, but I did not play that, so I'm not gonna talk about it. Which is also VR. So yeah, I guess there's that.
As the chair turns.
Why won't you ever rotate your chair, Samantha? All I ever asked of you is that you rotate your chair.
I don't like rotating my chair.
If you want this marriage to work, you'll rotate your chair, goddammit. Just use the right thumbstick and rotate your chair, Samantha.
I know how to rotate, Reginald. I'm not an idiot. All I have to do is move the right thumbstick. thumbstick to the right or left to rotate my chair, I still refuse.
What kind of wife doesn't rotate her chair with the right thumbstick? I want a divorce, Samantha.
I want a divorce too. You push me, and you push me to rotate my chair with the right thumbstick. Why can't you just respect that I don't want to rotate my chair? I don't want to be jiggling around. I don't want to do this.
I don't care, Samantha. I need my wife to rotate her chair using the right thumbstick.
I am the power woman, and I won't use the right thumbstick.
Then let's come to a platform that I would have never talked about in the past years. Nintendo Switch. I would have never bothered to talk about anything Nintendo prior to the start of this year, when Nintendo finally arrived in the 21st century and allowed Let's Plays of their games on YouTube to be monetized. It was long overdue that Nintendo came to its senses and actually realized, hello, there's people basically doing free promotion for you. Because all a Let's Play ever does is, if it's a good game, it makes more people buy it. So, yeah, until 2019, Nintendo kinda had a hard lockdown on Nintendo property on YouTube. They basically copyright claimed everything that they could find. And honestly, I just basically put them on my blacklist for that reason, because hey, if you're just gonna go ahead and claim my entire video for including like a part of your content, or claim an entire Let's Play series of a game by your company or on one of your systems exclusively, then honestly, I don't bother talking about you. So, that's why up until the start of 2019, I completely ignored Nintendo on the YouTube channel. I only ever played Nintendo stuff over on Twitch, like apart from some very old stuff that I once did, like a few SNES things for one of the advent calendars that I did back in the day, which I just don't have the time for anymore now. I would love to do those video series again, but hey, what are you gonna do? And I once did a retro Game Boy project of Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. But yeah, up until the start of the year, I didn't bother really uploading any other Nintendo content to YouTube. I had, however, started doing Nuzlockes of the old Pokemon games over on Twitch, and once at the start of the year, frickin' Nintendo finally decided to lift their incredibly stupid and narrow-minded kind of embargo on everything that they own. I kind of thought, hey, why not just take the stream VODs of those, cut that down a little bit, upload it to YouTube as well, and just give you guys on YouTube like the summarized version of those Nuzlockes, which led to me going back to all of the Pokemon games that I skipped in the years, and really getting into the hype for the new Pokemon games that came out this year. And those are the next entry on the list, and that was a really long lead up to it: Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you've seen any of my Let's Play of Pokemon Sword, then you already know that I absolutely love most of the new Pokemon designs, except for like that weird bug thing on Route 1, that kind of one of the, like, I'm pretty sure that's like the single most ugly Pokemon I'll just put it up here on the screen or something. That's like the single most ugly Pokemon in the entirety of the Pokemon franchise. And yeah, that includes a lot of other stuff like Mach and like Trubbish and its evolution, Garbodor. Yeah, all of those are ugly, but that thing just what even, like, get it away from me. But yeah, all in all, the games were, well, they were Pokemon games. What do you expect? They were basically the same storyline base concept that all Pokemon games are. You start off with your starter Pokemon, catch a bunch of Pokemon, beat a bunch of challenges, in this case again gyms, which weren't in the Alola games, so that making a return was really cool. And once you are done with the challenges, you go to the Pokemon League, beat a bunch of people there again, this time not an Elite Four, which is actually kind of refreshing. Not having an Elite Four fight, but fighting like a bunch of other challenges first, and then, by the way, they could, for my taste, have made the end tournament a little bit longer, like more challenges to face before getting to face the gym leaders again. They kinda could have cut out facing the gym leaders again, because, you know, I already beat those people once. Why would I try to beat them again? But yeah, having a rematch with the gym leaders, okay, why not? At least that made the whole typing thing that the Elite Four usually have still makes sense, since basically you're still facing an Elite Four plus champion, because you're rebattling 4 gym leaders. No, you're rebattling 3 of the gym leaders, and then you're battling the champion, so it's basically still a Elite Four thing. I was kind of surprised when frickin' Leon's Charizard had Solar Beam as one of its moves, so it could use the Max Overgrowth thing. So yeah, that was kind of surprising, but then again, and I already thought it might have something against water Pokemon, because that was a very obvious way of beating a Charizard, and went with Gigantamax Pikachu anyway, since Gigantamax vs Gigantamax was more of an accurate representation of the games for me, so I wanted to go with that for the final episode of the Let's Play. Also, I absolutely love Gigantamax Pikachu. Like, Chunkachu is just absolutely awfully cute and awfully fat and chunky, but it's just awesome. The cry alone when it comes out as a Gigantamax, like, Chunkachu! P. That's just the greatest thing ever. I absolutely love it. And having them go back to the original design for Pikachu in the original games, and kind of base the Gigantamax of Pikachu on that, is actually really cool. Of course, there was also a negative about Pokemon Sword and Shield. A very big negative, as in more than half of the available Pokemon of the by now 880 something, 88? It was 807 beforehand, 81 new Pokemon, so 888, yeah. Not counting any forms, 888 Pokemon in total, which is a really cool number, honestly. But all of those, not like more than half of those not being in the game, like, there's a reason you're doing Pokemon Home, right? I'm looking forward to Pokemon Home because I've recently, over like half of this year, started collecting a living dex of all 888 Pokemon. I obviously don't have everything yet, but down to like 40 pre Gen 8, so that's pretty good. I have everything that is in Gen 8, so there's that. But having that entire living dex inside of Pokemon Home was just something that I found to be very compelling. Now, not being able to get more than half of those to show up in Sword and Shield and, like, I don't know, use them in some sort of way, even if it's just for shiny hunting, because shiny hunting in Sword and Shield with Masuda method is like really fun and I love it a lot and I can't get enough of doing it, as don't hit your microphone, as you've probably seen by the fact that I've been doing a lot of that on YouTube on Twitch lately. I've uploaded the reactions on YouTube as well. The fact that I can not do that for more than half of the Pokemon that exist, even with the like 35 Pokemon that are technically in Sword and Shield but not available yet because they would have to be transferred via Pokemon Home. Even with that, we're not at exactly half even. And like a bunch of those are legendaries, so we can't even Masuda method them for hunting. But anyway, on top of that, some people probably wanted to get some of their old favorites into Sword and Shield for like competitive, and they didn't make the cut. And balancing isn't really something I'm going to accept as a explanation for that, because honestly, when was Pokemon ever balanced? Especially if you look at the new one of the new freaking fossils. Dracovish is like one of the most overpowered Pokemon ever. But hey, anyway, the reason I personally was upset about it the most was because it takes away a huge chunk of possible encounters in a randomizer run. And randomizer Nuzlockes are kinda a thing I want to do for every gen. And the more Pokemon there are in the game, the better the chances of having something unique and having that be not repetitive on doing it again and again, since, you know, a typical Nuzlocke run doesn't take long enough to not play old games over and over and over. Like, look at the PokeTubers. PokeTuber channels, those have like the same games over and over and over, but it's a new thing every time because the later the generation gets, the more Pokemon could theoretically be in a run just randomized to different encounter places and to starters and legendary encounters and everything, but it just takes away a lot of possibility there, a lot of replayability, if I cannot like get more than half of what would theoretically be available. Now, of course, the community already is hard at work putting old Pokemon that aren't in the game back in with mods, and since like randomizers are mods anyway, and I'm not going to be playing them on a real Switch anyway, as soon as those mods, the randomizer and the emulator work together, That's gonna be how I'm going to be playing a randomizer of Sword and Shield. So, yeah, whatever Game Freak doesn't do, the community eventually does. So, yeah, we've got that. But all over, just looking at the games are, they added so much quality of life improvements, like accessing your box from anywhere. Just the fact that you don't need to use anything special to get over water anymore. You just drive into the water on your bike and just keep going. That's so good. The freaking wild area is amazing. I love that thing. I love the raid battles to an extent. I absolutely hate the AI that comes with them. As on, if you don't use other players but have the AI help you out. Those AIs are like, I don't know, on crack, or I don't know. They have some. They either have an EQ of under room temperature, and I'm talking degrees Celsius here, or they are just straight up programmed to be assholes and not helpful. But yeah, comparing that to like the AI of your opponents in the battle tower, yeah, it kind of doesn't really make sense that those people would help you with raids. Where's the thing there? But hey, Gigantamax and Dynamax in themselves are cool concepts. I like that they kind of took the concept of a Z move and the concept of Mega Evolution and kind of combined it with each other for the Gigantamax stuff. Then again, it's still a gimmick that they probably will drop in the next game again. So yeah, I mean, if we're just gonna keep on switching up gimmicks, then hey, big Pokemon was a good gimmick for once. But I don't see that happening anywhere else, since it works with the history of the Galar region, but it really doesn't work with anything else. So yeah, good. Any future stuff is gonna come later in the videos, so so much for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Coming after me like every fighting type ever. That's a Galarian form! That's so cool though! Looks like a bear trap! Man! That's awesome! What's your typing? I wish I had fast, quick balls. But they weren't available up until now yet. Lecridon. Lecridon? What the fuck? Oh my god! That actually looks like a Pokemon fusion! We've got one more set of those lower half, because that's the paddle fossil. I really want to see the rest of the combinations. Holy shit, I need way more of those fossils. I gotta go back and get those eventually. But holy shit, what is this? Next on my list, Death Stranding. Now that one was hyped up to an extent that wasn't real anymore. I personally hadn't played anything by Hideo Kojima before, and honestly, I kinda don't see myself playing any of his older games, but honestly, Death Stranding just absolutely hit the nail on the head with the atmosphere. With the story is a little bit confusing, okay, but they didn't really reveal a whole lot within the story as far as I've come so far. I'm still like I've waited for the update that fixed the incredibly tiny font size that they used, but since that's there, I'll come back to it eventually. But yeah, just the atmosphere alone is really freaking good. And honestly, as somebody who played a lot of horror games before on the channel, this is easily one of my favorites so far. And I do look forward to playing more of it. But yeah, from what I've heard, the game is really freaking long, so that's gonna be like 8 to 10 streams easily until we're done with it. Still coming up, but yeah, we'll see about that. Okay, there they are. There is one. So I should be able to go right straight through there, right? Without them coming after me? Back to another VR title, a PSVR exclusive as far as I know, and that's Everybody's Golf VR. Well, I never played the non-VR versions of the game, but yeah, those do exist. I had a lot of fun playing through the VR version though, not on the channel, but since I don't really see golf as something you'd want to see me play. I was thinking about doing speedruns of it, but the fact that I kept on getting unlocks while playing through kind of made it impossible for me before doing all of the unlocks. So once I get a lot more time, I might go back to that and still do the speedruns, but from a gameplay perspective, it's just really freaking good. It was fun to play through. I had a good time with it. I just wouldn't see myself doing a let's play of it, since it probably isn't fun to watch as much as it is fun to play. Staying with PSVR, this one's not exclusive to PSVR, it's also on Steam. But frickin' Vacation Simulator, which I literally just started a few days ago when I'm recording this, so that's pretty fresh in my memory. It is so much more extensive than Job Simulator. I absolutely don't know where the limits to this are, but it has so much stuff to do. Like, it is such a big world for something that's basically point and click VR. I have no idea where the extent of this ends, but and I don't know whether the choice at the start where you choose the like, I guess the equivalent of the cartridge in the Job Simulator, if that means each one of those has a different like setting as well, or if that's just the same setting with different characters, if that's just like different save files. But I sure don't think it's just different save files. But just the part I've been in so far has so much to do. I already recorded over 2 hours of it, and I haven't even scratched the surface, really. There's so much interaction between the different parts of the map. It is so much more extensive than Job Simulator. It has some of the elements that were in Job Simulator, and those are really fun. And it just, I am amazed at how much there is in there, and I cannot wait to come back to it. So next on the list, the Bradwell Conspiracy, published by Bossa Studios, developed by Brave Plan, but it's basically a puzzle game, kinda. It has a very Portal-esque atmosphere to it. It kind of has a little bit of the humor of Portal, a little bit of the like problem solving with science-y kind of equipment of Portal, and yeah, just conceptually it is very much like Portal. It is not a rip-off, though. It makes the entire genre of puzzle first person, I guess you're gonna call it. It kind of makes that its own and gives it a whole new and puts its own spin on it. I enjoyed it a lot. I played through it in one sitting. So there's that. It is only like 4 or 5 hours long, so there's also that. But I played through it in one sitting. I was not ever bored really throughout the entire playthrough. I got stuck on some parts a little bit, but that was because I'm shit at puzzle solving sometimes, or just really don't look at stuff much, because like if there's one thing I learned throughout my myself getting stuck in puzzles, I should look up more. But anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can only recommend you get it if you are into that kind of stuff. No?
Okay, same one again.
Okay, so that only has those two positions. Good. Then one of the others.
Sure. Rotating number 3. One more time.
Then let's try number 6.
No problem. Number 6 it is. Here comes 5. That's how we survive.
Really?
Number 8, I shall rotate.
Can you not?
Will do. Okay. Turning
Wrong.
9. Not sure what to run. Uh-oh. Something just short-circuited. I can't stop the walkway. You'll have to MacGyver your way through it.
I'll just wait for it to come over and step through? Yes, no, maybe? Up next, Halo the Master Chief Collection, the PC release. Since the game was not ever available on PC before, the only Halo game that had a PC release before was Halo 1, as far as I know. I back in the day watched my dad play that, but Halo Reach finally is out on PC now. I started that very recently, and I like it so far. It is a pretty good shooter. I can understand why people liked it. I can't understand why people liked it on console, since it was an Xbox exclusive throughout most of its, 99% of its life cycle. But I see why it is as popular as it is, and I cannot wait to play through the rest of the Halo games that are coming to PC as well in the Master Chief Collection, since I do have the... Stop hitting your microphone. Since I do have the Game Pass for PC, so I do get them for basically free. I do pay like $3.99 a month, but it's basically free apart from that fee for having the Game Pass. In general, I can't say anything bad about it so far. Unfortunately, the first time I played it, my PC crashed in the middle of the stream, and I just didn't feel like restarting the stream after that. But yeah, I'm coming back to that very soon on stream as well. We eventually will finish all of the open loose ends that we currently have. We have an entire year in front of us where we can do that, so don't worry.
Get to work, Noble. Move out.
So we get in here. Guys? Okay, so oh god. Okay, I'm steering with the mouse. That does not end well. Where am I going? Next, another little indie game that kinda didn't really get any sort of attention from anybody outside of my channel, I don't think, since I haven't seen it anywhere, at least nowhere popular. I didn't actively search for other people covering it, but nobody I am subscribed to covered it. Nobody I follow on Twitch covered it. But I kinda had to cover it just from the name of the game, which was Break the Game, and I mean... That? I was kinda very implied that I should definitely play this. I enjoyed it. It was a nice little story. It had some cool gameplay elements. It has some cool kinda, interaction with the actual game crashing when you destroy some sort of pseudo data of the game inside the game. It was kind of reminiscent in a way of Doki Doki Literature Club. It was, on the other hand, kind of reminiscent of other games that do this kind of meta fourth wall break kind of thing. I like that a lot, and it was just really enjoyable. I played through it in one sitting again. It is only 4 hours long, so that's not too much to ask for, but I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I cannot say anything but get it if you like this kind of stuff. It is essentially a puzzle platformer, so there's the genre for you. If you're into that, this is definitely a good one. Boss? Going on down the list, we come to Jump Force, which is basically a fighting game based on the characters from the Shonen Jump mangas, and by extent their anime series. and since I am a very big fan of One Piece and Dragon Ball in specific, and I've at least heard of all of the others that are in the game, like all of the other basic the basic series that are in the game. I have not watched all of them or read all of them, but I at least heard of them, or at least like read up on some of the like lore behind them. I definitely enjoyed playing through that game, even if especially the final boss fight was kind of ridiculously stupid. But other than that, the game played well. I liked it a lot, even if the progression through the story kinda didn't make sense partially when I did a super move and it hardly did damage, while they did like normal moves a bunch of times and I was almost dead. That was a little bit weird, but yeah, throughout the entirety, I at least liked it enough to put it in the good games and not in the bad ones. Even if I, like, for the uploads, I abridged a whole lot of loading time and running around in the hub. So yeah, of the stuff that you see on YouTube, you can probably add half of the time of the runtime of that entire series on top of that to kind of have an idea of how much is load time and running around in the hub. There's a really long amount of load time in there. I don't know why, but the load time is absolutely atrocious in the game. But from a gameplay standpoint, it is pretty damn fun. Then we're coming to a re-release that happened this year. A game that also already released once last year, with let's say some issues. Deliver Us the Moon. Now, this time the release actually includes the ending part that was first supposed to be free DLC and then just got added to the game, and the game was entirely remade in an updated freaking engine, and RTX was added in there for some reason. I honestly don't know why, since RTX does not seem like something that developers should really push much, seeing as it doesn't do much. Because if you look at a game maxed out without RTX and with RTX, it really doesn't make much difference. There's also not a whole lot of games that do it. Like, major games that do it, Metro Exodus, and that's about it. We're going to talk about Metro Exodus later. Don't worry about it. That's about the major game. That Control has it, and that very basic, because that only does reflections with it, I think. And honestly, it looks fine as it is on a frickin' 5700 XT, which is not an RTX card. So, yeah, I don't know if RTX is really much to think about here.
You'll be leaving here for good soon.
Hey, it didn't lag there. Good, nice.
Won't take long after the
That will be really nice for the speedrun. Either way, other than that, we're just gonna play through this normally right now, so... you know that I've got my flashlight on already, right? Let's come to some stuff that I didn't actually get to try yet. I'm still going to do a full Let's Play on the Vive, not Vive, it's a Valve Index, on the PC VR headset that I own, of Groundhog Day Like Father Like Son. I didn't actually get to do that yet, but that's coming out at the start of next year after Vacation Simulator is done. I am not going to do the next one before it leaves early access, and that's Subnautica Below Zero, which is basically a sequel, I guess, to Subnautica. Kind of. It is currently still in early access. It looks really good from what I've seen. I have not seen a lot, but I am looking forward to playing it. And Dreams, which is a PS4 exclusive, which allows you to build your own kind of games inside the game, and it actually looks really goddamn good. I had a look at some stuff that they had at Gamescom, and honestly, it looks really freaking good. I just am waiting for PSVR to be part of it before getting it, because I kinda don't want Dreams to be like something I have to do with a controller outside of VR, because in VR this the whole creation process would be a whole lot more fluid and easy to do, seeing as on console all creative kind of stuff is a little bit, I don't know, it might be me that I have a problem with controlling stuff with controllers, but I absolutely cannot think of a way of doing that without like getting really annoyed by it. So yeah, just that. And one last game I wanted to mention that I also did not get to play, but I did watch somebody play for like half of the game, which is Baba Is You, which is a little puzzle game, also indie developer, but yeah, it looked cool. It was very unique, as in the kind of mechanics it has, but we're going to eventually come to that on the stream as well, but I, as I said, did not get to cover it this year. Then, for the DLCs of the year, House Flipper got its Garden Flipper DLC, which added, well, first and foremost, a hilarious bug. Why do you fall in that direction? What the? other than that, gardening to the whole house flipping kind of thing. Most of the reason why I played this was because it's in a way very similar in gameplay at the start, at least, to what Viscera Cleanup Detail is. And I enjoyed that very much for some reason, I don't know. And I mean, that's pretty obvious by the fact that I still have an ongoing Viscera Cleanup Detail series on the channel right now. So yeah, Garden Flipper DLC, that was pretty damn good, even if it had to be improved upon after release, but it definitely is fun to play. Then Kerbal Space Program got its Breaking Ground DLC, which I did not actually get to play much since my reusable frickin' career is not in the updated version of KSP, because I didn't want to again wait for all mods to be updated. And I really hate using outdated mods, because sometimes they just shut themselves off and don't work, because it's the wrong version of the game, and I just didn't want to deal with it in general. But yeah, but Breaking Ground DLC in itself added a whole lot of things that you can do on an actual like moon or planet, as in you can at least put up some science material that will generate science for you. You can put up an actual seismometer that recognizes when stuff hits the planet in vicinity, and yeah, just it added a little bit more to do actually on a planet, which is really cool, and I appreciate that a lot. But I will probably not to actually get to do much with it before KSP2, since my reusable space program is going to go on until I am at least done with all of the stock planets and moons. So until we have a full set of stock reusable missions. And by that I mean stock planets with fully reusable missions. I'm not going to quit that save, so I'm not going to upgrade it either, since most of the stuff that actually got added, like the ground scatter that actually has interaction and science to it, which is really cool, that doesn't appear on an old save. So yeah, it kind of makes no sense to do that on an old save. So yeah, it's just even if it does add a whole lot of gameplay to stuff in terms of what you actually can do on an alien planet or even on Kerbin, it just really is not very nice that I have to start another full save file for that to actually work out. So I'd have liked an option to say, hey, yeah, I don't care, add the stuff. I don't have anything lying around anywhere on any planet. Just add the stuff and that's it. Like they could have made that happen, but they didn't. So yeah, but just in general, Breaking Ground was a pretty good expansion. Another thing for VR, Moss got its Twilight Garden DLC, which I did play through, also for the channel. Those were some pretty cool new levels, and Moss in general was a pretty good game, and I still am looking forward to the next game that's coming in that series, since it is a series, and they are currently actively developing the next game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And of course, No Man's Sky got another update, which added a whole lot of new stuff again. Especially on the Beyond update, we got VR support. So whenever I actually find the time to go back to No Man's Sky, I'm going to continue the save that we had, most probably, with the VR headset on my head, and we're going to do that in VR, because I still want to play that game in VR, and with everything, with the new graphics card and everything, and the loading times on at startup are so much better now as well. The entire game is running on Vulkan now, which is such a much better API to use than the old DX11, or OpenGL or whatever it was running on before. I don't actually know. I think it was DX11. But yeah, Vulkan is so much better. It just offers so much more performance out of at least AMD parts, which I have. So yeah, it just runs better, it loads faster, it's just generally better, and I cannot wait to actually dive in there in VR. And speaking about VR, something that also came out this year is the Valve Index, which on one hand is a really good VR headset. I love my Index, and I absolutely cannot state enough how much fun it is to play games with it. But I kinda hated that the older graphics cards that actually were advertised to work with it, as in my old R9 Fury. Kinda just didn't work with it. R9 cards did not work with it. It just generally did not output any sort of video to that. The entire setup worked, except for the video output to the headset. Which makes no sense whatsoever, because the R9 Fury is easily strong enough to deal with it. Like, on an R9 Fury, an Oculus or a Vive would have no problem. I had no problem with my, like, weird hacked freaking version of having the PSVR work with my PC. I have no lag or anything happen. There's nothing wrong with it. It just happened to not work with the freaking Valve Index, which makes no sense. And it was annoying to figure that out, because frickin' Valve didn't know why. Like, for the longest time, a lot of people who had R9 cards thought, hey, my headset is faulty. No, nothing was faulty. It was just that the R9 cards don't work with it for some reason, and they didn't realize that until the headset had been out. Yeah, in general, I love my Index. I mean, was it worth the 1,000 euro that I threw out for it? Maybe, but hey, other people throw out thousands of euros or dollars for a freaking TV. So hey, I would never pay like over 500 euros for a TV, no matter the size, no matter the resolution. So, yeah, if you wouldn't pay $1,000 for a freaking VR headset, then hey, we've got disagreeing freaking opinions. Good, nice. So with that, let's come to the bad stuff of the year, and I love ranting about bad stuff. First of all, a game that I actually had looked forward to, since I, as I said, am a huge One Piece fan. One Piece World Seeker kinda ended up being a complete piece of just meh. You look at that and you go, nah. Whatever. I never picked it up because frickin' the entire world of the game is absolutely empty. The gameplay looked very, very repetitive, and I guess the story was kind of fine, I guess, but just in general, not really a very good game and doesn't look like too much fun, honestly. More bad stuff. The end of the Walking Dead series from Telltale. Am I glad that the entirety of that series is over and no new Walking Dead stuff is coming from Telltale? Since they have been resurrected from the dead. Hopefully with less of a complete shit show of a management. But yeah, I don't know if they just like rushed out the rest of the episodes, but it just kind of felt half done and broken. Just the entire game of the last season of The Walking Dead was absolute garbage. I hated it. I absolutely hated the controls of the combat system. There was not a lot that I liked about it, really. And just in general, the fact that they didn't just leave it beforehand when they already knew that the company was kind of dying is also a little bit... But yeah, I really don't see myself going back to that specific Walking Dead ever again. Not that Telltale's games weren't like glitchy in some sort of way every time, but that was just the worst, really. And I definitely don't want anything that comes out of the like resurrected Telltale to ever be that forced and bad again. Especially since they are going to release a sequel that I very much look forward to, that we're going to talk about later. The next bad thing, A Plague Tale Innocence, which kinda has the worst fucking camera controls I have ever seen in a game. I don't know why, but it seems like the camera kind of is on a freaking cogwheel that just snaps it just snaps in place on certain angles, and it just doesn't make any sense to me that I can move my mouse a little bit and hardly turn, and then a little bit more and snap over to the next viewpoint. It might make more sense on a controller or something, but the mouse controls on that are so absolutely hideously bad. I honestly wanted to throw up every time I moved in that game so far. I am still going to play the rest of it eventually. Haven't had any streams where I played anything else than the new stuff that I wanted to at least try before the end of the year, so I can talk about it here since then. So very eventually coming back to that as well, but I don't see myself having much fun finishing it, because honestly it does not have much going for it. It's not a very compelling story. The controls are horrible. The logic of the game sometimes is anything but logical. Yeah, it's just not very good. It feels so completely unpolished.
Theo, there's an emergency. Get the others and go and see my father as soon as you can, alright?
Alright. By the way, I've set up some targets for your sling behind the stables.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's not that the game is lagging. It's just that the camera is snappy. The game's not actually lagging. The camera is snappy as fuck. For some reason, I don't understand why this camera is so shit. This camera is the worst thing I have ever seen in a game. maybe if I lower the sensitivity all the way down, I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely like, this is back to, yeah, that's better, unless I move my mouse fast. Then it's snapping again. There, why? Why is it doing that? I'm moving my mouse smoothly and then suddenly it snaps. Like, unless I'm literally moving like this. I move a little bit faster and suddenly it snaps into position. Like, what is that? Who programmed that and why? Speaking about not very good, Metro Exodus. Holy crap, was that a garbage state the game released in? The game constantly crashed. 4A Games still has not figured out how to not make the mouse go off screen on double screen setups. So I still get accidental clicks outside the freaking game if I don't use the artificial way of using the cursor lock program. The game is still as glitchy and just graphically not satisfying on some parts when it comes to like stuff glitching through solid surfaces and stuff like that, or like rocks hovering in midair when they shouldn't, or just stuff suddenly hovering above a table where it shouldn't. Just in general, the game does not seem finished. It seems rushed. It seems broken. The writing is okay. The story is good. I like that. But the fact that the game crashed a lot on like while I was freaking playing it initially, then the save corrupted, then I somehow managed to get an old quick save up that kind of was where I was before, so I kind of didn't lose too much. Then there's again one, like, I'm actually at that point right now, and that's kind of why I didn't play it for so long. There's again a kind of boss fight area where you die over and over without knowing what you're doing wrong. In this case, it's you go into a room, into a very tiny room, and there's a guy with a machine gun and heavy armor that you can do absolutely nothing to. The last time we saw one of these guys, there was at least a kind of big room and enough cover to kind of trick him a little bit. This room, not so much. I really don't feel like playing that game anymore. And that's kind of sad, because in general the Metro series was always enjoyable in spite of what was bad about them. Like, I like the remakes that they released, even though they had more glitches sometimes than the old versions. I mean, I played through the Redux versions before Exodus, but honestly, Exodus seems more broken than the Redux versions. It just is not a game that I would recommend to anyone. I cannot see how anybody would recommend this as a game of the year, and it is more of a letdown than anything else. Yeah, this is officially the worst developed game I've ever played. How do you fuck up a game after it ran actually well on the last updates? How do you fuck it up so it literally just keeps on fucking freezing on the same spot? Next game I don't look very much forward to finishing it, mostly because the characters are everything but likable. The frickin' story is everything but engaging, and the gameplay is bland and absolutely repetitive and boring to me. Sea of Solitude, which is it is an indie game, yes, but that doesn't give it a free pass on being bad. And it has a few things that are very, very bad about it. It also has a few things that are good about it. It's like, the graphical department did a very good job. It at least runs well. It doesn't have any sort of glitches that I can think of right away. Apart from the one time I got eaten by one of the monsters through a platform I was standing on where I was supposed to be safe. But other than that, that wasn't too much. That wasn't too much. That's just complete utter bullshit from a programming standpoint. But yeah, it just in general makes not the best impression on me, and I do not look forward on finishing it too much. But I am going to finish it because if I already started it, I might as well finish it, especially since I'm gonna take like one stream for that at most. So yeah. Coming up to the next one, that I kind of talked about this last year already, but it got a fully release this year, so I kind of have to talk about it again. Hot Lava by Clay Entertainment, the guys behind Don't Starve. So yeah, that's probably where they should have kept their stuff, because Hot Lava is very similar to CM Speedrunners from Hell, as it is a first-person platformer game where falling off lands you in lava, and it is very much based on like a timer, and you kind of are in. It kind of has an incentive to speedrun it. It just controls very weirdly. Like the bunny hopping method in it is it is not my kind of thing. Like you have I don't know if it's like something people who are used to doing bunny hopping in games would adapt to very easily, because I have not played any other games where bunny hopping is really a thing. But it is a very, very weird mechanic to me. It just it doesn't feel like something I want to do. It feels very random and very very hard to control, very all over the place, which is kind of not what I want in a precision platforming for time kind of thing. That is more of a thing where I like CM, where if you're more precise about your movement, you're most probably going to be faster, apart from like a few weird glitches in the game. But yeah, just in general, not a huge fan of Hot Lava, and I'm not going to play it again, even though I got it for free because I was a beta tester. But yeah, not my kind of thing. And the last one on this list, a game that I wanted to play originally, but after it released and it kind of like wasn't like a bunch of people that I follow covered the first episode of it and then kind of dropped it, or covered the kind of like prequel free thing that they did for it, which I also did. But Life is Strange 2. I don't know where that comes from, but it just doesn't seem like the game was as good as the first game. I don't see people praising this game like at all. And I don't really feel like buying it anymore. Like, this was one of the games that I first got around to not buying it before it completely releases because of the whole Telltale disaster. Now, this is a Square Enix title, so it is very unlikely that it just doesn't release an episode or just the company goes out of business before it is finished, like it was with Telltale almost. Like with The Walking Dead, for a time we did not know whether it would get finished, but there's not a lot of risk for that on Life is Strange, but still, I kind of didn't want to go in and buy a game again that I don't know whether all of the episodes ever release. So yeah, and then I kind of forgot about the game when the final episode finally released, and I kind of don't feel like going back to it now, because nobody is really talking about the game. The game completely flopped from what I can tell, and I really don't see a reason for me to play it. So yeah, there's that. And now we are coming to the last part of the video, the future part. What is coming in 2020? Now, I'm not going to be very freaking like chronological in this either. So I'm just gonna list off a few games that I'm looking forward to, mostly. Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix is coming next year. I have no idea when the Western release date is, but the Japanese release date is in February already, I think. So if the Western release is anywhere within a month of that, I'm going to wait for the Western release, because I don't really want to go ahead and import a Japanese cartridge again, because it is really like it takes so much time for that to come here. But yeah, if it's anywhere within a month, I'm not. If it like comes out somewhere in like July or something, then I am definitely going to import the Japanese one, because if you're not getting the game out at the same fucking time, at least make it within an acceptable time range. But yeah, that's coming out for the Nintendo Switch. I am definitely getting that, as I am very curious about the new like Switch play mode with the Joy-Cons. I mean, other than that, the rest is basically Project Diva Future Tone, so there's not much new there. And Future Tone is going to get DLC for the new songs in Mega Mix, so we're fine in that way. And I'm definitely getting the DLC on PS4 as well, especially since on PS4 we at least get to play it in 60 FPS. I'm not sure about the Switch version, it's probably 30 FPS. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I'm definitely gonna play it. I'm definitely gonna play through all the game, like all the songs in it, on the hardest difficulty for both the normal mode, which is gonna be on extreme and extra extreme, and the Joy-Con mode, which only goes to hard. So yeah, you're gonna see that up on the secondary channel and live on Twitch. Then we got Surgeon Simulator 2, which I got to like play very, very early stuff off in the boss playtest server, and I'm not going to talk more about that because that entire server and everything that happens in it has kind of a little bit of an NDA, so I'm not talking too much about it, apart from what we know publicly, and that's Surgeon Simulator 2 is coming, and it kind of, as evident by the trailer, will be a multiplayer thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely gonna play it. I'm probably gonna get it anyway from the beta testing, so that's gonna be nice, and I am looking forward to it a lot. Then the game that I hinted at earlier, Telltale, The Wolf Among Us 2, which is the one sequel for a Telltale game that I actually wanted to see, because holy crap, did I love the first The Wolf Among Us. And I'm definitely going to play through this game once normally, once all good decisions, and once Big Bad Wolf style. Like, definitely the once Big Bad Wolf style is still coming. I don't know if all good decisions, I'm probably gonna just do all good decisions in the first playthrough or something. Except like if there's something really, really obviously like I don't want to be the good guy right now kind of thing, but the Big Bad Wolf style thing is definitely coming again, because that was very fun the first time around. And seeing as it is still a Telltale game, there's still going to be this kind of like choice-based gameplay. So looking forward to that. The Binding of Isaac Repentance, which was kinda actually supposed to release before the end of the year, but then didn't. I'm glad that they don't rush it, at least, since this is the final DLC for The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, and I don't want it to suck. So I want that to be perfectly fine when I start it, and I'm sure looking forward to it. And as soon as it is out, you're gonna get daily content of that for a while. But yeah, we don't know a whole lot apart from the fact that the anti-birth mod is going to get kind of officially added by that, and there's gonna be a few other new things. So there's gonna be a whole lot of things that we can look forward to. A whole, like, another game basically again. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that a lot. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is coming next year. We still have to play Pirate Warriors 3 before that. So I am looking forward to do that, because I do have that on my PS4 installed and waiting. So yeah, that's coming eventually. Just like immediately at the start of the year, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is coming. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to play that right away, since I have kind of a lot of stuff to finish, but eventually we will play that. Especially since the game basically probably will start another like set of games that's coming out further in the future. Going through the entire, like, all of the arcs of Dragon Ball Z. Kind of like One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 goes through the first part of the arcs, and then from the Dressrosa arc onwards, we basically have Pirate Warriors 4, right? Yeah, so that kind of thing. So we'll definitely play it eventually. Ori and the Will of the Wisp is coming out pretty early, I think March or something. So we're playing through the first game before that. I already have that installed, and Will of the Wisp will be free on the Games Pass, so I will have that immediately as it releases there as well. Then hardware related, we have the PlayStation 5 coming out at the end of the year, as well as the Xbox Series X. But since I kind of never had an Xbox, and I don't feel like Xbox has any sort of real value to it as a PC player, which kind of doesn't have, because it kind of doesn't have exclusives if you already own a PC, because all of the Xbox stuff is already coming to PC on Windows 10 anyway, so there's really no reason for me to have an Xbox Series X. Apart from that being a really stupid name. the PS5 definitely was something that I'm going to get. I also upgraded my capture card to the 4K version, and I will get a 4K TV for that. So at least for recorded gameplay, you will get 4K content there uploaded to YouTube. I don't know yet how big those files will be, but you will get 4K content. Then we're also getting the rest of the Master Chief Collection and Halo Infinite. I don't know if they're also doing Halo 5 for the PC. Probably, hopefully, because I kind of don't want to skip one of the entries in the series. We're getting KSP2, which is definitely gonna be fun. And we're getting probably finally the frickin' System Shock remake that I backed like in 2016. Doom Eternal got delayed to this year, and we're still going to play through all the other Doom games before that. Probably not before it actually releases, but before playing that. The sequel for the Dark Pictures Anthology, so the second part of the Dark Pictures Anthology, Little Hope, which isn't really a sequel, but a secondary game, which is also kind of part of the same anthology, but different people and different setting and everything, but basically another game in the series, which is hopefully going to be fine. Half-Life Alyx, which is a VR Half-Life game. I already have it due to having an index, so I kind of have to play it, so I kind of have to finish Half-Life 2 and the episodes before that. But yeah, we'll eventually do that as well. And then that's more of a speculation. Something Pokemon, maybe a Diamond Pearl remake, maybe a new Let's Go game based in the Johto region, or like second Sword and Shield, like Galar game. I don't know, we'll see. But either way, I will see you also in the review of the entire decade at the start of the next year. And in any video up until then, and any streams that are coming up. Also, there is a tradition that I'm going to start. On the 1st of January, there is going to be a sleep lock on Twitch, which is basically a Nuzlocke challenge of a Pokemon game where I play through it in one sitting and don't sleep in between. That's going to be the first annual New Year's sleep lock. And yeah, I'll see you for any of that. Happy New Year! I'll see you there. Till then, have a nice day. And thanks for watching. Bye.